The Barnstable School Committee will select a new superintendent this week, and we find out what's happening at the Barnstable Municipal Airport on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Thursday, December 10th, 2015. I'm Sarah Mantle. Tonight, the Barnstable School Committee will interview the 3 finalists for the position of Superintendent of Schools. The finalists are Holliston Assistant Superintendent of Schools Sarah Ahern, Wilmington Assistant Superintendent of Schools Kathleen Burnham, and Fall River Superintendent of Schools Meg Mayo Brown. The committee is hoping to name a new superintendent by the end of the week. Interviews will begin at 5 p.m. tonight at the Barnstable Intermediate School. The interviews are open to the public. The school committee has a special meeting scheduled for Friday, during which they plan to make a selection. Barnstable This Morning host Sarah Colvin finds out what's happening at the Barnstable Municipal Airport during her conversation with airport manager Bud Brialt. We share that interview with you now.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sarah Colvin here at Barnstable Municipal Airport with airport manager Bud Brialt. Bud, good morning.
Good morning, Sarah. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Great.
Always an adventure here at the airport. We're always out looking at something new, and behind us, 3 gleaming white, brand new fuel tanks. This is the fuel farm, the above ground fuel farm that we've been talking about for, seems like years at this point.
Well over a decade.
So tell me a little bit about why this is here and what purpose it's going to serve.
The main reason is that our existing fuel farm is a single underground 20,000 gallon tank that's getting old, and it's insufficient in size to accommodate our need for fueling of aircraft. Because last year we spent over 1 million gallons of fuel. To do out of one single 20,000 gallon tank is very difficult. Just logistically alone, for one thing, and every time you transfer fuel there's a problem with safety and spillage and so forth. So we've been trying to get more capacity, so this is the new 60,000 gallon above ground fuel farm that we're putting in now. The tanks arrived finally last week, Tuesday and Wednesday, and we're set in place, and now we're waiting for the to put the piping in and all the catwalks on top of it with some of the yellow stuff you can see in the background. So I'd say by the end of this month, the fuel farm should be up and operating.
Very exciting, and really it doesn't seem like much time at all from when the tanks get here to when it's up and operating. Of course, still a lot of work left to be done in terms of setting them up and getting them tested and all of that.
It's all prefabricated in a plant. The tanks are actually constructed in Pennsylvania and shipped here, and then we have another company out of Baltimore that puts the whole thing together for us. So what you see is the mother tank in the middle and the 2 other tanks. Each tank is 20,000 gallons. The mother tank has a piece on the front which has all the controls for the system, and the combined weight of the 3 tanks is about 250,000 pounds.
Wow.
So this is built on a very solid concrete pad, about 2 or 3 feet thick, steel reinforced rods in the concrete. And what you see in the background is the containment area. So it's built large enough such that any one tank were to suffer a casualty, it would be able to contain the fuel from that one tank without a spillage.
Great, and so that's the kind of the dip down that we see, that it looks like it's kind of in a little pit.
Right.
So interesting that it doesn't look that deep, but it's pretty large in
It's 12 feet deep, and it's a large size pad, big enough to hold the contents of one tank. And we also, underneath where we're standing right now, is a oily water separator. So if we do have a spill, obviously we would be calling in the experts to pick up the fuel. But if we had a minor spill, the minor spill would be caught by the oily water separators before any of the water or storm water goes out into our drainage system.
Always very important. So how is this fuel bud used here at the airport?
We have the exclusive right for the sale of jet fuel to all but some of Rectric's aircraft. And so we have 4 rolling trucks. So the trucks will come here and pick up the fuel, and then we go to the aircraft and fuel them as required. So we're always waiting for the next call, so to speak. So we're your portable gas station.
And I would imagine with flights coming in and out all the time, you go through a large amount of fuel every year.
Last year was over 1 million gallons, so that's the first time we've been over 1 million, I think, in a long time. And so that was good from our point of view, because that's where we generate most of the revenue for the airport, is through our fuel sales. And we're very good at this. We don't have any spillage. We haven't had a reportable spill here in 7-8 years. So we're very fortunate with that. And so we're trying to be good environmental neighbors, not only in how we operate, but how we're building the new system. Well, these tanks are double-walled steel, ballistic steel tanks, with all kinds of safeguards in them for detecting spills or any leakage whatsoever. So we think it's going to be a very good, safe fuel farm.
Excellent. So we'll see crews out here sometime within the next few weeks putting all the yellow catwalks up and getting everything tested. And when it comes time to fill it with fuel, do you just have a big tanker come and kind of
Yeah, the
fill it
tankers,
up?
they come in 10,000-gallon trucks. So they come in and gradually over time and get it filled up. We probably won't fill the whole farm immediately, because we're going into the winter season and fuel sales are down a little bit, so I wouldn't fill it completely unless there's an issue with condensation or something like that. I was going to say one other thing, I forgot what it was.
Any other safety features? You know, I'm just noticing the interesting design of this. There's a big kind of like a garage door kind of thing on the front of the mother tank. Is that where all the controls
This is where all the controls are, and then there will be an emergency shut-off switch here in front, and there's another emergency switch on the back side, so that if there's an emergency, the whole system can be shut down by pushing the one button. It's also designed so that it can be easily accessed by the fire department. So we've set it all up so it flows really well. You really can't see it all right now because all the stanchions aren't in, all the fences aren't in, and so forth. But the construction should be completed by the end of this month, and we should be operational sometime end of December, first part of January. And the old system will be decommissioned and removed in the springtime.
Wonderful. And what kind of a process is that, decommissioning and removing it? Is that something
We
that's
have to
gonna take?
drain it and clean it and make sure everything's okay, and then you dig it up and remove the tank. That alone should be a good photo shot when we do that, and hopefully there won't be any contamination from the old tank, but we're prepared if there is to mitigate that.
Absolutely. So busy days ahead at the airport. I did want to mention, of course, as we're here taping, this is going to air after the Nantucket Christmas stroll has taken place, but it was really busy here at the airport today. Always a nice time for people going over to the island for that tradition.
This is our last biggest weekend, if you will, of the calendar year, which is the Nantucket Christmas stroll. And so we're hoping to get a lot of folks over to the airport, or to the Nantucket for that purpose today and tomorrow and over the weekend. The weather looks beautiful. It's supposed to be 60 degrees for the weekend, so it should be a marvelous ceremony over there.
Amazing, amazing. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Centerville Pie, of course, at the cafe here at the airport. It's been empty for a little while, and so excited that Centerville Pie is coming in the springtime.
It's been empty for almost a year now, and actually a little more than a year. And we feel very fortunate that Centerville Pie has agreed to come to the airport and open up a cafe, and which would be very similar, I think, to the cafe that they operate in Centerville itself. Breakfast and lunch, probably seasonal, and then certainly their famous pies, and we're really looking forward to it. The owners have already told us that we should all expand our pant sizes by 2 for all the pies we're going to eat, and we're hoping that this will be like a distribution point on this part of the town so that people won't have to go all the way to Centerville to pick up their pies. And if they come here, it's free parking for the first 30 minutes, even now and then would be, so you can come in and pick up your pies. And if you decide to stay for lunch or breakfast, we can validate your parking for free parking. So come on down, and we hope to open up sometime in the spring.
Excellent. Well, Bud, I thank you so much for taking us out here and showing us the beautiful new fuel farm, and we'll look forward to seeing this project come to completion.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you so much. Bud Brialt, of course, airport manager here at Barnstable Municipal Airport. For Barnstable This Morning, I'm Sarah Colvin.
We'll be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 7 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we'll have our weekly arts and culture segment. We'll chat with Patty Machado. She's the Director of Leisure Services. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mantle.